Okay, so if you're light skinned, if you're a light skinned black woman, you're going to be, and you're attractive, okay, like the Beyonce types. Beyonce, Vanessa Williams. See, those are MGMs. Those are, and white people secretly know that somewhere in their genetic biology line, they're mixed race. Somewhere down the line, they got mixed blood in them. Okay, but they know that they're not really biracial. Okay, so they would be considered MGMs, but really that's a new word that just recently surfaced itself up, and it stands for multi-generationally mixed people that are mixed down the line. Okay, I'm a MGM. We are the ones that are that society, white female society, doesn't like the most, because we're phenotypically closer to black, but we still have these very distinctive, very attractive mixed race features that let people know we are mixed somewhere down the line. Okay, so we might have a mixed, or not mixed, but we might have a white great grandparent, okay, or a white grandparent, or a white great great grandparent, or maybe our mother is biracial, or something like that. Somewhere down the line, we got that mixed blood from somewhere. Okay, and so people like Beyonce and Vanessa Williams, the first Miss Black America, those type black women are the most rejected in by white society, especially white women. They don't particularly like attractive MGMs at all, especially if they're into black men. You're going to be a big problem to them, because you can attract black men, and on the down low, you can attract white men too. Okay, but white men are not necessarily going to pursue you unless you let it be known that you're very much into them. And most MGMs are not really into white men like that. And so white men just kind of leave us alone. They don't really socialize with us. They just they don't get very involved with us unless there's something about us that lets them know, hey, I'm sexually available to you, and I'm more than willing to have your kids. Then they'll accept you with a quickness. Okay, but if you show that you're not really that interested in them, you're not really trying to integrate into white society, you're more interested in your own people, they don't want a thing to do with you. You're just as good as 100% black, so they're going to treat you like you're 100% black, MGM or not, and that goes for biracials as well. If you're biracial, but you look more like an MGM, they're going to treat you the same way. If you're willing to kiss up to them and worship them and integrate in with them, they might accept you. It just depends on how attractive you are. If you're really attractive, white women are not going to accept you. So if you're looking anything like Halle Berry, Vanessa Williams, Beyonce, then you're probably not going to be socially compatible with white women, because they don't really, if you're attractive, they don't take that too well, because you can get white men and black men and pretty much anything. So they don't take that too well. They don't like any type of competition. But if you're loud, if you're ghetto, if you're dark skinned, or even dark medium toned, they'll accept you as long as you're not too attractive and you're willing to be loud and ghetto. But if you're quiet, if you're reserved, and if you're attractive and you're a medium-toned black woman or dark-skinned, but you're attractive, they won't necessarily accept you either. Not white women, because they don't like anything, any type of woman who they feel is going to be a threat. So if they feel that you can attract white men, if they feel that you can attract black men, they're not trying to fuck with you like that. So you're out. Okay, and that's what the thing is with white women. They don't like attractive black women at all. You will be left over in the corner, sitting by yourself, completely tossed out of their society. Okay, and white men will follow, because white men follow up behind black, or white men socially follow right up in the asshole of white women. If white women don't socialize with you, white men are not likely to socialize with you, attractive or not, unless you're loud, ghetto. If you can make them look superior, then they'll fuck with you like that. Okay, I used to work on a military base as I used to cut hair for people in the military. Okay, so I saw firsthand. I used to work with white women, Hispanic women, black women, white men, because it was a pretty large barber shop, and we would cut hair. And so I saw firsthand. I worked there for about 6 years on a military base. Okay, and so I saw firsthand how, black women are treated versus, depending on your phenotype and your behavioral patterns. Okay, I wasn't fucked with too much because I'm attractive. I'm very well versed. I'm pretty educated. I'm reserved. I'm relaxed, and and I can attract pretty much men of all races, basically. Okay, even though a lot of them outside of the black community are not likely to come up to me like that. Okay, some of them have, from a distance, shown me that they're attracted to me by looking at me, but I don't put much attention into that, not because I'm not really into white men. I'm not really, but it's because most of the ones that are attracted to me, I'm not attracted to them. Okay, it would be a whole different outcome if I was, though. I might actually give it a shot, but most of the men that are not black that are attracted to me, I'm not attracted to them at all. Just here recently on the job that I have now, I've had about three white guys in 6 years, so it's not very many, and it never has been. But the few that are attracted to me, I'm just not attracted to them, because I'm not really into white men like that, but I will admit throughout my lifetime I have seen a few that are very attractive, but it's very far and few in between, because most white guys to me are just very plain and dull looking. There's just nothing about them that really stands out. They're pasty looking to me, a lot of them. I don't like their hair. There's just a lot of things about them that I'm just not attracted to them. And I don't mean that on a racist level. It's just, I'm not attracted to the majority of them. And now, again, within my lifetime, I have seen a few very, very attractive white guys. But again, it's far and few in between. Would I give those white guys that I saw the time of day? Yeah, I would have. But the type of white guys that I would be attracted to are typically not into black females, okay? So it just doesn't work out as far, for me, it just doesn't work out. And so people like myself if we're living in an area that's predominantly white, you're going to be an outcast. You're definitely going to be an outcast, because I'm too attractive for white women to really socialize with me. They can clearly see that I can attract black men, and they don't fuck with black women who they find are attractive. And I'm not talking, when I say attractive, I'm talking about just on an average level. I'm not talking about a Beyonce or Vanessa Williams type attractive. I'm just attractive on a social level. Now, when I was younger, I was more into the same category with Beyonce and Vanessa Williams. Okay, and I could still be on that same level today if I really wanted to, but because the men in my community won't put much of an effort to make themselves attractive, then I don't put much of an effort into myself to make myself attractive. Because what would I be putting that effort in for when the men in my community don't really fuck with me like that? And the reason why they don't is because why should they take me when they can go get some white girl who's got more resources? She has more capability of opening doors for him just because she's socially accepted, because she benefits from her whiteness. And so a lot of black men in the state that I live in won't fuck with me like that, because why should they when they can just go get a white girl and she can open up all kinds of doors for him just because she's white. She knows people, so she can hook him up in several different ways that I can't really, do that, because I'm not living in an area where I have control. Okay? And so even though I am attractive on a social level, it doesn't do a whole lot for me if I'm living in a society that's predominantly white. Okay? And that's the problem that I have had most of my life, and that's the problem that a lot of biracial women are going to have if they live in an area where they are outnumbered by white people. And that's pretty much everywhere you go. Okay, if you're not living in a heavily mixed race society, then you're going to be kicked out and pretty much I can't think of the word right now, but shunned. That's what I'm trying to think of. You're pretty much going to be shunned off into a corner on your own, okay? Because white women don't fuck with any type of woman of color who they feel that they're going to have to compete with, okay? Now, when I was working on this military base, I noticed that there were a couple of girls that were from the southern part of the United States that would come into the workplace all loud, ghetto. As soon as they would walk in, you would know that they were there. They would just be loud, ghetto, very theatrical acting. And those white girls loved it because it made them feel like they were back in the slavery times. It made them feel superior. It made them feel more intelligent and more superior, basically. Okay, because that's just how it is. If you're loud, if you're ghetto, if you present a personality that you're willing to act as though you're inferior to white people, then they'll fuck with you big time. So dark-skinned girls along with medium-toned girls, even some light girls, as long as they're not that attractive, as long as they're loud, ghetto, willing to worship and praise white people, you'll be socially accepted by them. As long as you aren't attracting too many black or white men to you, you will be socially accepted. You'll get to sit with them. You'll get to dine with them. They'll fuck with you at work, but outside of work, they won't have too much to do with you. As long as you're loud and theatrical and you can make them laugh and you're willing to spill all your business and down talk other black people, then they'll socially accept you. But if you're quiet, you're reserved, you're nice looking, you can attract black men, you're going to be sitting by yourself. You're going to be shunned. They're not going to like you too much. Okay? That's how I have found out how it works over here in the United States. Okay? Now, somebody on my same social level, I can't talk today. Somebody on my same social level, if somebody like me lived in Brazil, I would have a whole different experience, okay? Because over there, first off, there's a whole lot more black people, okay? All of them can speak Portuguese. All of them integrate in with Portuguese people because there's less Portuguese over there, okay? I think the black Brazilians, along with the mixed race Brazilians, outnumber the white people. So over in a place like that, that's where you're going to be judged on your ability to blend in with everybody. If you can socialize really well, if you can speak the language, which of course if you're born over there, you're naturally going to speak the language very well. So if you're a social person somewhere like Brazil, you're going to fit right in. It's not about your skin tone over there. It's not about your hair texture like it is over here. It's all about where you stand on a social level. It's all about your family's last name. Does your family have a really good reputation? How well can you present yourself in society? Can you blend in with other people? Are you social? Are you friendly? So that's how you're judged over in Brazil. It's not about your phenotype at all. That's like the last thing on the list. Whereas over here in the United States, it's all about your phenotype. And when I say phenotype, we're talking mostly about your hair texture and then your skin tone. Hair texture over here in America is the number one thing everybody looks at. You can have very short hair, but if you got a loose curl in it, they'll consider you biracial, even if you're not. So they'll fuck with you like that as long as you're not too attractive. And as long as you're kind of loud and ghetto, yeah, they'll accept you in with them. They'll eat with you and mingle with you at work. But it's not like after work, they're not going to hang out with you. They're not going to invite you over to watch the Sunday football game with their family and friends. They're not going to fuck with you like that. they'll talk to you at work, and that's it. Once you leave that job, you'll never see or hear from them again. Okay? But they'll fuck with you at work. But it's not like they're going to hang out with you after work. The only time white girls, and when I say white girls, I'm also including Latino women in with that. The Spaniard ones, I'm also including them in with that. The only time they'll fuck with you like that is if they are dating a black man. That's the only time they will become social with black females, is if they're fucking with black men. If black females don't socially accept them, and a lot of them are getting to a point where they don't really accept these women who are into black men into their community anymore, then they're not gonna fuck with you at all. But they will seek out black females who are willing to socialize with them. They'll sit with you at lunch so that they can have somebody to sit with, because a lot of the times in their community, if it's found out that they're fucking around with a black man, they're shunned. So the next best thing that they do, they'll come into the black community and start hanging out with black females. Okay? And a lot of the times they seek out the most unattractive ones that they can find, because they're not trying to compete with you. Okay? They will look at you and see how attractive you are. If they think that their man might find you attractive, they won't fuck with you at all, because there's a possibility that if he comes up there to pick her up, he might accidentally see you and want to be with you, so they're not going to fuck with you. Okay, so most of the black women that you see in these workplaces that are shunned are attractive. I've noticed that. Most of them that are sitting by themselves with no social interactions with anyone, they're too attractive for white society. Okay, they're too educated, they're too reserved, they're too relaxed. They can have a very educational conversation with someone. You're seen as a threat, so you're automatically shunned by most white people. Okay, white guys might fuck with you like that on a social level in secrecy. Okay, meaning that they might have a small conversation with you just to see where you're socially at. But after that conversation's over, they're not going to, you won't see or hear from them again unless you start a conversation with them. But it's not like they're going to come and sit with you and fuck with you like that. Now, black men, on the other hand, are a whole lot more socially accepted in the United States. And one of the reasons for that is because black men are, they like your athletic ability. So they're socially available to talk about sports. A lot of black men work out, so they're socially available to talk about the gym and how to do this and how to do that. And so white men don't really see black men as competition, even though a lot of them are competition for white guys. White guys know that they'll fuck with black men at work on a social level. They'll sit with them, they'll play games with them, they'll socialize with them, because a lot of the times their wife is sitting at home or she's working on some other job. So that black man is not a threat at the moment. So he'll fuck with you at work, but it's not like he's going to invite you to come over to watch the Sunday football game and be around him and his wife, because that's when the fear comes in. His wife might find that black man attractive, and so outside of work, white guys are not as likely to fuck with the black men that they work with on a social level. Okay, because you might become too much competition for them. So for black men, they're a whole lot more socially accepted because of sports, because of athletic ability. Black men are also very theatrical. They're loud a lot of the times. They're ghetto. And white guys like that. They also like to listen to rap music now. Rap music is very, it's played a lot all over the nation. And so that kind of opens up social doors for white guys to discuss music with black men. And so black men are a lot more socially acceptable. You will find white guys talking to them at work, sitting with them at breaks and lunchtime, but they won't sit with that black woman though. Not unless she shows them that she's secretly attracted to them. They don't have no use for her. I'm talking about white men now. Unless you flirt with them or unless you're loud or ghetto, they don't have no use for you. They just don't, because there's nothing that you can offer them on a social level. So they don't find you sociable. So they're going to pretty much shun you. Unless there's something that you are into or that you're involved in, or excuse me, that you're involved with, that they can talk to you about, then they'll talk to you. Okay, so if you're going to college, if you're studying a certain course, they might talk to you about that. But again, it's not like they're going to fuck with you after work. It's not like they're going to come and sit by you either. They'll talk to you at that given moment, but that's it. They don't really fuck with black women like that for some reason. White guys, they just don't. Unless you show them that you're into white men, they won't fuck with you like that. Unless you're loud, ghetto, theatrical, then they might sit with you at lunch or whatever, not alone, but in a crowd of other people. Yeah, they'll fuck with you like that. Okay, but if you're quiet, more reserved, if you're more attractive, more educated, you intimidate white guys, and black or white women are not socially going to fuck with you because you're too much competition for them. They don't typically wine and dine with attractive black women, especially MGMs. Okay. If you're mixed race, as long as you look more like a quadroon, if you got them loose curls, then they'll fuck with you like that because you look more like them. So they're more comfortable around anything that looks more like them. Okay, and they obviously know that you have a white mother, okay, because 90% of most biracials born in the United States have a white mother. So they know that on a social level you have more in common with them because you were raised by a white woman. So yeah, if you're on that level, as long as that hair is, got some loose curls in it, it's more on the straighter side, then they'll socialize with you. But if you're too attractive, they won't. So in the United States, it's still very, very racist over here. I can't see it changing anytime soon. Not even for mulattoes. Because again, it's kind of, even with mulattoes, if you have 4C hair, or if that hair's a little too kinky, they're not going to fuck with you like that. Okay? one of the first things white people look at is your hair texture. Okay, so if it's not on that 3A, 3B level, they'll even fuck with you if it's 3C, as long as it's not too tight. But once you start getting into the 4, A, B, and C, you're out. You can forget it. Okay? Unless you speak German or any of their languages that's not English. If you can demonstrate that you can speak any type of European language, even Spanish, they'll fuck with you, because they know at that time that your mother's got to be white, definitely. So they'll fuck with you as long as you can speak 2 or 3 different languages fluently. Yeah, they'll fuck with you then. But again, if you're too attractive, not the women. They won't mess with you at that point. Okay? So it's very, very, very racist over here. It's almost in the interest of mixed race people to live kind of in areas where there's more black people. So I'm not saying to integrate with black people, but what I'm saying is stay kind of close to them. Okay, because they're not necessarily going to accept you either if you're too attractive. You're going to also be sitting by yourself. As long as you're loud, ghetto, if you don't look like nothing, then yeah, black females will accept biracials into their community as long as you're not too attractive. But again, if you're quiet, you're reserved, you're kind of educated or educated, they're not going to accept that too well, because for one, they're going to feel uncomfortable around you. They're going to see you as competition. You might attract too many black men, so they're going to shun you. Okay? So it's better to live in a very, very mixed race area. Is if there's, where there's a little bit of everything. And it's hard to find places like that because there's still a lot of segregated areas in the United States. And so it's still better for mulattoes to still live closer to black people, because you're more accepted by black people than you will be by white people. It just depends on how you are phenotypically accepted. If you look more white, then you can blend in with white society. If you're looking a little too black, then you better go and blend in with the blacks. And that's kind of how it works over here. With me, I look like I look more like an MGM, which I am. So my racial mixture comes from down the line. It comes from my great-grandparents on my father's side. And then on my mother's side, it comes from my grandparents. And so I'm more of an MGM. I'm a little too attractive for the society that I'm in. Okay, so I'm shunned completely because I'm not showing these white guys that I'm into them, so they don't have much use for me. Okay, they are not, unless again, if I start acting very ghetto, theatrical and comical, if I can be a comedian, or if I can tap dance in front of them, then yeah, they'll fuck with me like that. But if I'm more quiet, reserved, and relaxed, and I'm too observing, then no, you're gonna be shunned. You're too much of a threat. They don't know what you're thinking. They don't know how well educated you are. So no, unless you're visibly attractive to white men, they're not going to have much to do with you at all. Because if they sense any type of feeling that you're uncomfortable around them, they will completely shun you. And they can feel it within seconds of coming around you. They can tell right off if what type of person you are within seconds. These people are very, very intuitive. Okay, they can tell within minutes what type of person, what type of energy you throw off whenever you come into a room. So that's how it is over here in the United States. Okay, hold on just a second. Okay, so one of the reasons why there's so many Hispanic, Latina women coming over into the black community, taking a lot of black men out and away from the black community, is because a lot of the men in their own community are not demonstrating that they want to do anything or go anywhere with their life. Okay, they're drinking too much. They're not showing much of an ability to maintain a job and keep a job. And so what these Hispanic women will do, if they can't really find a man in their own community because they have to compete with too many other Latina women to get an average normal man, okay, they'll come straight to the black community and see what's available over here, because they kind of feel like, well, black women are not going to be too much competition for them, because they got this long silky hair and they pile on their makeup, and so a lot of them can be visibly attractive on the outside looking in, okay, until you get with them on a personal level where a lot of that makeup comes off of their face. When you see them in the morning, then they look like your average, everyday, typical looking girl. Okay, a lot of them have very nice hair. They know that black men are into hair and that they like hair, so a lot of them use their hair to attract black men. Okay, that's like one of the biggest things that black men are attracted to when they go for Latina women is their hair. Okay, that's like the number one thing that black men see, and Latina women know this. Okay, so they use their hair as a way to grab the attention from black men. And black men want to have mixed kids with nice hair. So that's one of the biggest reasons why, if they get involved with Latina women, they're going to make sure that they have a child with her, because they want those kids with that real nice hair. So that's one of the biggest reasons why black men get involved with these Latino women. Okay, and Latino women get involved with black men for the sex, for the entertainment, so that they can have biracial kids and show them off. And they also don't feel like it's going to be much of a competition for them, because they kind of feel like they're more attractive to black men than black women are. So they don't feel like black women are much of a competition for them. So that's one of the reasons why they'll come over to the black community and see what's available. And typically when they do that, they will go for your male managers, your male supervisors, engineers, lawyers, doctors, whatever they think is bringing in the most money is typically what they'll go for. And they know that their chances of getting that black man over a black woman are 75% higher, because they got the hair to attract that black man. So they will use their hair, because really that's all they have that black women don't have is the hair. So they'll use their hair as a way to attract these black men into relationships with them. And mind you, a lot of these relationships don't last. Once that black man gets tired of having sex with her, he'll dump her and go to the next woman. I've noticed that a lot of these white and Latino women usually don't keep most black men past 5 years. Some of them will slip through the cracks and manage to get a good black man every now and then. They'll slip through the cracks and get one of our educated black men, and he'll stay with her. But the chances of that happening are extremely rare. Okay, because even if they do slip through the cracks and manage to pull a very educated black man, he's not going to stick with her that long, because once he sees that makeup come off, and once he finds out her attitude is just as bad as most black women's attitude, he dumps her once he finds that out. And then he'll go and seek out whoever else he can get, because black men know that they have the upper hand here in the United States because of their sports ability, their ability to make rap music, their ability to be able to socialize with white men about sports and athletic ability, and you know, stuff on that level. They know they're more socially accepted. So a lot of black men, so that they can feel like they're up there with white men and Hispanic men, they'll date white and Hispanic women so that they can feel like they're on the same level as white and Hispanic men. But really they're not, because on average, a lot of them don't own any businesses. They're not building anything. You go to their neighborhoods are full of crime. They're run down. They're full of roaches and rodents all over the place. They're not kept up. All you have to do is go straight to their neighborhoods and look where they live, and that'll tell you everything you need to know. They don't build anything. They don't maintain anything. Okay? And when they do get a little bit of money, the first thing they do is leave the black community. They won't stay in their community, marry their own women, and build within their community. They're not interested in trying to better their neighborhoods where they come from. They're just not interested. Some black men will. Some black men will get educated, marry a woman from their own community, and build in their community. But it's extremely rare. It's extremely rare, because the ones that do become educated and marry black women, a lot of the times they'll leave the black community and go and live in a white community instead of staying in their own community to build. And the reason why they do that is because they're going to be the only one building, because all of their educated friends have left the black community as well. And so it's really a it's really a repeated cycle that keeps happening over and over and over in the black community, generation after generation after generation. It doesn't improve, because the few black men that manage to make it to the top, almost 90% of the time will go and marry a woman outside of their race, taking their money and their financial capability with them. So the black community pretty much stays where it's at. It doesn't get better. It just goes from worse to worse to worse to worse, because black men are not really coming together as a group to try to improve anything. They just leave all over the nation and all over the world. Over in Africa, they leave, they become educated, they come over here to the United States, get a good education, and then they'll try to stay here instead of going back to where they initially come from and building they leave and they take their education with them. So the black community, along with the black race, doesn't really get much better because all the good ones leave. And if they're not, if they don't marry a black woman, a lot of the times when they become educated and leave, they marry these non-black women. Okay, and again, a lot of the relationships don't last past 5 years. 5 years in this day and age, max. And most of these black men in these interracial relationships are gone on to the next woman, because as far as they're concerned, they're looking for whoever they can get who has the most resources. They're looking at how they can use you to better themselves. They're not interested in getting with these non-black women just because she's pretty. They're trying to find out what they can get out of you, because they can get any non-black woman, and so they're going after the ones that have the most resources. So if you have a house, they'll go for you. If you have access to any kind of money or any type of collateral that you've gained from your relatives, any type of wealth that you have passed down to you, that's what they look for. Okay? And they're also doing that in the black community as well. They typically only go for women who have a lot of resources. And because I've noticed one thing with black men is that when they get involved with women, they usually move in with her. It's very rare it's the other way around, unless he's some type of athlete or movie star, or he graduates from college and, but if it's just an average black man that's just starting out, a lot of the times they'll go for whoever has a house, who's got a condominium, who's got an apartment. The quickest way he can get out of the ghetto is where he will land. Okay? He'll stay with that woman a good 5 years, and the minute he gets tired of sleeping with her, he'll jump to the next one. They don't really stick with women very long. Most black men go from woman to woman to woman to woman on average. Okay? A lot of them are married 3 and 4 times within their lives. They get married, then they get a divorce, and then some of them, now they're finding out that it's costing them too much money to get married, and so now they don't even want to get married anymore because they don't want to have to pay for child support. So they're not even marrying a lot of women anymore. They're just remaining single so they don't have to pay you child support. Okay? And even if the courts make them pay child support, then there's a good chance that they might try to get rid of you, physically try to get rid of you, because you become a problem at that point. That's why there's so many homicides in the black community, because they're trying to get rid of paying child support to a lot of these women. So they find ways to get rid of them. So it's a mess in the black community. It's a big mess, and it's a lot of it's set up by design. A lot of it's set up by design. Okay? And so that's pretty much all I have for this session. Thanks so much for, listening to what I have to say. Go ahead and push the like button if you're agreeing with what I'm saying. Go ahead and push the subscribe bell so that you are notified anytime I make a video. And I will talk to you guys in my next video. Thank you.